fear heights, enclosed spaces, or perhaps spiders? These are just a few examples of phobias that can rule our lives. Today, we're going to explore the most common phobias and understand why they scare us so much. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind our greatest fears. Social phobia. Social phobia, also known as social anxiety disorder, is a psychological condition marked by intense and continuous fear of social situations. This fear stems from concern about possible judgments, humiliations, or rejections by others. Individuals with social phobia often experience crippling anxiety that prevents them from participating in social events, interacting in groups, or even speaking in public. The fear of being observed or behaving in a way that could be embarrassing is so strong that they often choose to avoid social situations altogether, which can lead to isolation and significantly affect their quality of life. Agoraphobia is characterized by intense fear of being in places or situations where escape might seem difficult or embarrassing, or where help may not be available in case of panic. Often misunderstood solely as a fear of open spaces, agoraphobia encompasses much more. It may include fear of being in crowds, traveling on public transportation, being in open spaces such as parks or squares, and even in confined spaces like cinemas or small shops. For someone with agoraphobia, the mere idea of being in one of these environments can provoke extreme anxiety. Claustrophobia. Claustrophobia is the intense and irrational fear of confined spaces or small enclosed environments. People with claustrophobia often experience severe anxiety or even panic when they find themselves in places like elevators, small vehicles, windowless rooms, or even in crowded places. This fear is not only uncomfortable but can be debilitating, influencing daily decisions and limiting functionality in everyday life. For example, someone with claustrophobia may avoid certain activities such as using elevators, opting for stairs even when impractical. Acrophobia is the intense and often debilitating fear of heights. People with this phobia may feel a disproportionate fear to the actual risk, accompanied by dizziness, excessive sweating, trembling, heart palpitations, and even panic when in elevated locations. This fear can arise in situations such as being on a high-floor balcony, using escalators in shopping centers, mountain climbing, or even climbing ordinary stairs. Acrophobia can significantly limit a person's recreational and professional activities, restricting their ability to participate in events or jobs involving heights, such as rock climbing, mountain trails, or construction and building maintenance work. Arachnophobia. Arachnophobia is the intense and often paralyzing fear of spiders, a fairly common phobia despite most spiders being harmless. Even though knowing that few species are actually dangerous, many develop a deep aversion triggered by the fast and unpredictable movements of these arachnids. This fear can be exacerbated by past negative experiences or cultural influence portraying spiders as threats. For those suffering from arachnophobia, the mere presence of a spider can provoke extreme panic reactions, limiting daily activities and access to certain environments, such as gardens or attics, turning ordinary places into zones of extreme discomfort. Ophidiophobia. Ophidiophobia is the intense fear of snakes, a phobia that affects many people around the world, regardless of their actual proximity to these reptiles. This fear can be so strong that even in regions where snakes are rare or non-existent, the mere idea of a possible encounter or the sight of a snake in images or videos can trigger severe anxiety. The origin of this fear is often rooted in past negative experiences, cultural representations highlighting the danger of snakes, or even an evolutionary instinct to avoid predators. Cynophobia. Cynophobia is the intense fear of dogs, a phobia that can arise from past negative experiences, such as an attack or bite, or even from cultural and familial influences portraying dogs as dangerous. This fear not only affects people who have had direct negative interactions but can also develop in individuals who have never had substantial contact with dogs. The implications of cynophobia in daily life are significant, especially considering the popularity of dogs as pets. Astrophobia. Astrophobia is the fear of thunder and lightning, a phobia that affects both children and adults. This phobia can provoke an intense anxiety reaction during storms, with symptoms ranging from mild discomfort to true terror. People with astrophobia may experience palpitations, cold sweats, trembling, and even panic attacks upon hearing the sound of thunder or seeing lightning illuminating the sky. This intense anxiety is not only disturbing but can also significantly limit the daily activities of affected individuals. Trypanophobia. Trypanophobia is the fear of injections, a condition that can provoke an extreme anxiety response in people of all ages. This fear not only involves discomfort with pain but can also be linked to an aversion to the act of being pierced by a needle itself. The reaction can range from mild restlessness to more severe symptoms such as dizziness, fainting, panic attacks, and overwhelming anxiety that manifests even in anticipation of the situation. This intense fear can significantly complicate access to and adherence to necessary medical treatments, such as vaccinations, blood tests, or intravenous medication administration. Thanatophobia. Thanatophobia is the fear of death or the process of dying, a condition that can provoke excessive and constant concern about the end of life. This fear can be so overwhelming that it profoundly affects the daily life and emotional well-being of people who suffer from this phobia. Individuals with thanatophobia may frequently find themselves obsessively thinking about death, which can lead to anxiety, depression, and other significant emotional disorders. The constant presence of this fear can dramatically influence how these individuals plan and live their lives. Amaxophobia. Amaxophobia is the fear of driving, a phobia that can severely limit a person's independence, especially in urban areas where driving is crucial for daily mobility. Those who suffer from this fear may feel intense anxiety just at the thought of taking the wheel, resulting in tremors, sweating, and even panic. This leads many to completely avoid driving, affecting access to work, healthcare services, and social activities, increasing dependence on others for transportation. Treating amaxophobia often involves behavioral therapy to help reduce anxiety and regain confidence in driving. Aerophobia. Aerophobia, or the fear of flying, is a phobia that can be extremely restrictive, especially in a world where air travel is often the best option for covering long distances. People with aerophobia experience significant anxiety that can be triggered by the idea of flying, during boarding, or even when considering booking a plane trip. This fear often results in physical symptoms such as nausea, heart palpitations, tremors, and panic attacks. This phobia can drastically limit a person's ability to travel, whether for personal reasons such as vacations or professional ones such as business meetings or international conferences. Mysophobia. Mysophobia is the intense fear of germs, dirt, or contamination, a condition that can lead to extreme cleaning and disinfection behaviors. People with this phobia may wash their hands obsessively, avoid touching objects they consider dirty, or restrict their contact with public environments to avoid exposure to germs. During global events such as the COVID-19 pandemic, this phobia intensified for many due to increased focus on hygiene and virus transmission. This exacerbated fear can lead to significant limitations in daily life, influencing everything from social interactions to routine activities such as shopping or using public transportation.